All right. It's 6:30. It's September 28th. It's Thursday. Hopefully everyone's feeling good. My name is Scott Ruther. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. This is the 6:30 Club where I try and go over what the narrative is, where everyone's obsessing, where potentially, we could see some action for cash flow daily basis, how to set up, for the week, the month, for life sometimes, right? I try and talk about different time frames, depending on what age you are, what stage of life. And here we are working on our process, trying to, get through the day in a way where you can smile, right? Rise and grind. Anyway, good morning to my dog. Sorry we can't interact. Twitter doesn't let you do that anymore, but we'll figure out another way. If you're watching this on YouTube, very cool. Yesterday everyone was like, Red Dog, was that enough? Was there fear, midday? And was that enough of a cleanup or clean out type of reversal to give us some kind of oversold move? I'm like, well, I tried. Yesterday when I left for lunch, it felt like we were going to break that 425 in the spies, and I put some levels into my area that I wanted to buy the spies from 422 half down to 418 half, and we went to 422.26 or 29, and then had a decent reversal, so I had good prices, and then they gave you a really nice move, but then there was just not enough power. I feel like there's too many weak stocks out there, and you still have the TLTs going lower and rates going higher, so the macro is not programmed. So I just don't know how much of a reflex move we're going to have. I'm going to try and play it also. Chances are, though, I don't know if yesterday was it for this fourth quarter rally that's becoming the consensus. And although I'd love a fourth quarter rally because I make a lot of money, when we're in a nice 2 to 7 week sequence where I could buy 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 stocks and massage them and add second and third tier names. We haven't had that in a while. So anyway, you look here at the S&P cash, right? At least we had ways to adjust on September 15th, which was Rosh Hashanah. They actually sold it, and this wedge that looked decent, heading into that day, you had to get out of your risk. And then on Fed Day, that confirmed the weakness, confirmed the bearish sequence, and we've been down quite a lot since. So yesterday we hit 42.38. So write that down. That's your new point of reference. We've been playing with the 200-day on the EMA. The zone that I want to buy, is 41.66 to 42.12, which is right around here. That's where I'd like to buy my wife's second Blood in the Street account tier. If you remember, I bought tier 1 here, and the oscillator was minus 77, and then we had a nice rally. Everyone's like, Red Dog, you're going to take it off? I'm like, well, I only bought 104. It's not a day trading account. It's a long-term account that she can't contribute to. So I'd like to put the second of 4 to work if we can get somewhere into here, in the first week or two of October, which sometimes happens. Anyway, the oscillator yesterday was like minus 46. It was minus 77 here. So, we were oversold, but it wasn't truly extreme. But anyway, so what do we have now? So if we get a window dressing today, Friday, Monday type of move, if the PCE comes in light of some of the economic data that we're all worried about because rates are going higher, comes in a little lighter to show a little easing of inflation, I would think max for this leg would be, where we were here, 43.35 and 43.38. That would be the 8th day, right? Rallying back to the 8th day. So we'll see. At this point, in order to get to 43.16 or 43.38, you got to get above 42.91. So those are your levels. If you go to the weekly chart, you'll see that this was a nice. By the way, this is again my more not my active account, but more of my Susie Orman hat / longer term hat. So here's your 4,069 to 41.95. This would be a really good area that has to hold. I think if we're going to have a fourth quarter rally, this has to hold. Otherwise, things can disintegrate all the way down to 38.08. So I'd write down these 3 levels. As of right now, what we know, though, is 42.38 is where we held yesterday. And as you can see, you have a candle here. So between 42.37 and 43.16 now, this is your inside candle, and we'll see how that goes. A lot of guys got out of risk when we broke this 44.40-ish, which I wrote down. So anyway, it's good to know your levels. Levels help. levels matter, just like everyone else out there. The SPYs, gave you a decent little bottom tail, right? So the question is, can you can you buy them a little higher? I actually bought a little SPYs this morning while they were red, trying to position a little bit here. Feels like the fix is in a little, but anyway. So this is 42.29. This gap that I always have these yellow shaded areas to show you where the gaps are because sometimes they're a magnet. This gap is gone now. Say goodbye, goodbye. This is still open here, but that's what gave us clues that we're going lower. So the question is, can the SPYs get above 427.67, and then you have 428.72, and then this is that zone that I was telling you about. So this would be probably the hard area to get through, which is like 430, 431, which, what does that give you? 3.5 points, I guess. But that's cash flow, Go to the Qs. Hello, Bruce Springsteen. Anyway, all right. The Qs were good yesterday. That's where I made a lot of my money. Qs right now have a little, you could say this is your pivot resistance, 357. Qs right now are up 6 cents, so it's not like you're missing if you didn't take anything overnight, you're not missing a whole hell of a lot. 355.08. In order to retest, this 361 area, right? This is 361.60. It's got to get above this. Okay, at this point, these are your two support pivots, and this was stronger. There's the 200 EMA, so SPYs went below it, Qs didn't, so the Qs are still showing some relative strength. So a few things need to happen for the Qs, I think, to have a little bit of power. Apple, which has been a little weaker, which I did make over 100% of my puts yesterday, which I was, Red Dog, you made money short, because everyone knows that it's not my easiest thing to do. But anyway, Apple's got to hold in here and maybe, go up a little bit, and then you have Micron. So here's a thought here, okay? Micron is down 321. So here's AMD. Let's put AMD up there. Let's put NVIDIA up there. In order for the Qs to do decent, okay, Micron that's down 3 probably needs to, instead of being down 3, be down 1.5 and rally a little bit, and not go from down 3 to down 6. And then AMD, which was kind of strong yesterday, needs to kind of blow that off. And NVIDIA, which is supposed to be the leader, needs to not care and go up and lead, because there's no leaders right now in tech. Tech is all faulty. Tech's lost momentum. So if we're going to get something today more than a choppy mess, which is what we've had, you would think this has got to go red to green, this also, and maybe Micron comes off lows, and then the Qs maybe gets a little action with the SMHs. That's just, my if this, then that thought process. Plus, if you want the market to really have a little bit of a move, the TLTs that did not rally yesterday with the tape needs to go from down 49 cents to green or so. You guys want to see the TLTs? What a craziness, huh? Look at that. Heading lower. Remember the summer? I did call the summer top, by the way. Not that I made a lot of money calling the summer top, but at least it helped a lot of people get out of risk. People thought I was a little nuts. That's when everyone was calling for new highs in the S&P. Did it with my friend Liz Clayman on Fox Business, which I will be on next week, hopefully. So here's 99-ish, went below. Okay. Crazy thing is, if you look at the monthly chart, wow. So this is something I feel like you need to think about a little bit, right? We have, the S&P is still up like 12% on the year. I know we're down 8% from the highs. And look where the TLTs are, 82 to 89, coming into this zone, which is probably a buyable spot. To me, that's the one thing traders are, normal common sense people are like, what if we really get to 5.5% on the 10-year? It's going to be hard for the market to do anything in the fourth quarter if the market finally believes it's higher for longer. But anyway, craziness. But then if you look at technicals, it's like, how did this happen? Well, here you lost the 8-day. I've written a lot of friggin' ebooks about that. Here you lost all the moving averages. So hopefully you weren't long the TLT. If anything, traders have been using this as somewhat of a guide. Anyway, this 82 to 89, if you want to position longer term or buy some leaps for next year, this is probably your area. So let's get away from that for a second, though. let's go back where Red Dog lives. Where does Red Dog live? Red Dog lives in high beta tech mostly. And at this point, I showed you guys Apple, okay, breaking this inside range to the downside. Yesterday, I was like, maybe we could short a bounce into 173.50, never got there. And now this filled a portion of this gap. So it's this low, 169.05, so let's put that in there. Everybody's now talking about Apple when, before the break was better for everyone to talk about it. What gave some clues that it can maybe go to the downside as well. An unopened gap. You see this gap to the downside here? Well, it never got filled, showing the bears having some decent sized power, right? Anyway, let's move this over. I like to have things look pretty. But anyway, so now this is 169.05. Okay, what's Apple doing this morning? Apple is down 28 cents. So it's not really, leaning on things yet or not. If it goes from down 28 cents to up a bit, that'll help this oversold move. Anyway, if Apple's going to 157.50 in the next 2-3 weeks, then obviously there's more downside for tech. So you look at the weekly chart, I posted that too. This was that little break right there that we're talking about. What do we do? You held the 50-day on the weekly. So if this is the low and we could put an inside candle, then the bears aren't going to be able to growl, but we'll see. 157.50 is right there. This was the language I had, trying to give people a heads up. So let's move that out of the way. So Meta was just crazy yesterday. I haven't seen, the stock's been so damn whippy. I had my worst day right here. I don't know if you guys remember that trading day, September 7th. That was a doozy. But anyway, this day reminds me of that. I did talk about, will they sell the news, and they did sell the news, so, but then it rallied back, and I think a lot of traders were trying to short the rally back, and it came right back into this zone, and that's not easy. Right now, Meta's, up 56 cents, showing a little relative strength this morning. I thought they had a lot of cool gadgets, like, the glasses, I know they're, Google tried to do it, but Google's glasses looked like, futuristic. Now you're talking about Ray-Bans. So if you could talk to your glasses, obviously you look a little weird, but everyone talks to these things look a little weird. I'm going to take pictures and it becomes a computer on your eyes and you feel like you're Iron Man from Marvel. At some point, whatever, I'm not going to get into it, but Meta's been acting pretty well. I've been avoiding it a little bit because it's been so erratic and hard to trust, but maybe it tries to digest a little bit in here and work this wick off, and then at some point if the market gets better, it could go up. But some people are like, hey, did you see that? This is what happened yesterday. So some people are like, how could you have avoided this disaster yesterday if you were even short? So you had this fast move lower, right? And then if this stock were to continue to go lower, it should never have taken back this 293-ish area. Okay, so once it took this back, it didn't rally, come up, and continue lower. No, it took it back, and that was where you had to cover and say, you know what, shorting this bounce isn't going to work. And now, at this point, I guess, see if it could hold this 296, go sideways, and then at some point, you can get rid of this little line here. Where's delete the selected line? Goodbye. And now, what's more important is if you drew your line this way to see, because that's been some pretty big resistance. So now, see if this could work this off, because there's a lot of bad memories in there. But anyways, it's a little day trading. I am a day trader by nature since 1997, but I do a lot of things. Anyway. Tesla isn't special. I know yesterday I talked to you guys and I said, there's another downgrade by Deutsche Bank about deliveries, this and that. Probably can go from green to red, and if it breaks yesterday's low or Monday's low, and then it did it. So there was a nice short there yesterday for guys. And now it's just like, it's really not that interesting. There's some talk out there that they're looking into the subsidies of EVs, and Tesla's in there. And market likes when Tesla's trending up, making higher lows, higher low, higher low, higher low, but that's not the case anymore. So, at this point, what's Tesla doing today? Tesla is down $1.29. So maybe there's a trade to go red to green, but it's not leading, right? It's not special. So then we have none of those type of stocks. Give me a stock that's special and trending and showing momentum, and you could buy it and you could have some fun with it. it's just not the market we're in right now. So it is what it is. Google had a little relative strength yesterday, but still nothing special. Maybe it gets above this spot and tries to fill that gap. What's this, 130.90? So let's put that there, 130.90, if it can get above it. But again, buying anything higher has just not been a lot of fun lately. Like, this is the market we're in. So, can this get above this to fill that gap? Maybe. That's the kind of trades we have out there. Energy has been good. Listen, if you're an energy trader, yesterday you got paid. Nice candle, got above 90.57, showed some strength. So this was your break of the 8th day, and then here it got back above it. So this line doesn't really matter as much anymore. Either does this. Now the question is, you look at this 2-year channel. Will energy have enough power in the fourth quarter, to get above this spot that it's been big time resistance for a while? If it does, you're going to need the Chevron, Exxon, Oxy, all those guys to do better. So I don't focus those on as an entire group. I'll trade the XLE from time to time, the OH from time to time, sometimes one of those names, but they're like, look, Chevron gave you a good move yesterday. Look at that little bull flag breakout right here. Took long enough. So this is the prior high here. There is a huge void. So if you're looking for some kind of energy exposure, because you think the fourth quarter it's going to outperform, well, you have a lot of room here in Chevron. So go with that. If you want to look at Exxon also just broke to a new high. So this is showing leadership. So if Exxon continues, look at that. Hey, above the 8-21 day, chances are some other things could play some catch up. So I guess maybe I should look into this group, huh? Oxy, Buffett stock, it's been in a channel for so long. It has been trading like such arse. You know what arse means? Anyway, if it were to get above this spot, I guess this too would wind up having, a void all the way back to the highs. So, there is some room here if you use this as your sector. Maybe that's why it's such a great second quarter, because it was mega cap tech. Siri, shut up. Did I say that? No. Alexa, shh. What else? What else? Microsoft, somebody asked me. Microsoft, all these things had a day to take notice to get you out of the way. So if you sold your Microsoft actively on this candle, hey, maybe there's a trade back to there. You have a low yesterday. It showed a little relative strength. If it were to cross this spot, Alexa, off. Thank you. Did I get in trouble for yelling at Alexa? Anyway, we'll see how that goes. So that's where we are, guys. Are we going to get this oversold bounce in the SPYs, towards 431 to 433 is pretty much the question. Is 422.29 the low for the rest of this year? I don't know. Probably not. We'll see. Can you net money? How'd you do in the third quarter? Can we have an awesome fourth quarter? These are all things that we have to think about to ourselves and think about how we navigated. I personally did not have a great third quarter. I had a flattish first quarter, a really good second quarter. I was up a lot in the third quarter, called the summer top. Was very careful, and then the last month has been, a little trickier. Tricky. Hey Alexa, play It's Tricky. You think she knows? It's Tricky by Run DMC. Apple Music. Here it comes. Sometimes, you feel all of a sudden you need just a song and you get in a good mood. The market's been a little tricky. I love this song. I haven't heard this in a while. By the way, the jacket's back on, so we'll start taking the jacket off. What's this? Let's go a little bit. I'm not sweating. Anyway, I wish you guys luck today. It's Thursday. Rise and grind. Take care of some business. End the quarter off on a good note, and most importantly, start the next quarter on a better note. Clear your mind. Feed the brain, so this way you can execute with confidence when your opinion gets confirmed by the market to turn it into a strategy. Cheers to you.